I came to that very school in Beslan. Honestly, it's really hard to find the words. I've heard a lot about this tragedy, read about it, watched documentaries, but being here is a completely different feeling. When you stand next to this building, you understand that behind every number in history were real people, families, children. It becomes very quiet inside. I think this place is not so much about the past as it is about memory. It's about how such tragedies should never happen again. There are places where it's impossible to speak in a normal voice. And the Beslan school gym is one of them. I thought for a long time about whether it was even worth filming here. Not because it's forbidden, but because there are places where you just want to be silent at first. But then I realized, if such places stop being shown and talked about, memory will also begin to fade. And that can't be allowed. When you walk inside, the first thing you feel is silence. A special silence. Even though people come here, talk, light candles, and bring flowers, it's as if all the sounds here naturally fade. It's hard to believe that this was once an ordinary school gym. Physical education classes were held here, children ran, laughed, and played ball. They couldn't even imagine that one day this place would change its history forever. Today, the gym has been preserved almost exactly as it was after the tragedy. It doesn't feel like a museum. It feels more like time has stood still. Photos of the victims are everywhere. Children's faces, adult faces, flowers, stuffed animals, candles. Each toy seems to suggest that someone comes here not as a tourist, but as someone who remembers. But something else struck me. Water. There's a lot of it here. On the floor, near the photographs, against the walls, there are bottles of water, large and small. At first, I didn't even understand why it was water. Then I remembered one of the most terrifying details of those days. During the siege, the people trapped in the gym had almost no access to water. It was especially hard for the children. Many suffered from extreme thirst. That's why people continue to bring water here today. It's a very simple gesture, but when you understand its meaning, it becomes difficult. Each bottle seems to say, If only I could have helped back then with just this. Perhaps it was this simple detail that touched me most deeply. Not the monument. Not the walls. Not the exhibition. But ordinary drinking water. Because behind it lies human pain that cannot be measured. I've noticed that people of all ages come here. Some stand silently for a long time. Some cross themselves. Some quietly cry. Some bring flowers. No one bothers anyone else. Everyone experiences this place in their own way. I think it's impossible to remain indifferent here. Even if you've never been to Beslan before. Even if you think you already know a lot about this tragedy. It's one thing to read articles or watch documentaries. It's quite another to find yourself inside this gym. Understanding comes in a completely different way. I caught myself constantly looking not only at photographs but also trying to imagine ordinary school life. The sound of laughter here. How the children played basketball. How the teachers prepared the September 1st celebration. These thoughts come to me spontaneously. And that's precisely why what's happening seems even more terrifying. Sometimes I think memory isn't just about big monuments and official dates. Memory is when people continue to come after so many years. When they bring fresh flowers. When they light candles. When they put out a new bottle of water. When they bring their children and calmly tell them what happened. So they know. So they understand how fragile human life can be. And how important it is to cherish every ordinary day. I deliberately don't want to recount the entire story of the tragedy here. Much has been written about it. Today, I wanted to talk specifically about my impressions of this place. Because no numbers can convey the feeling that emerges inside this gym. When you leave here, you don't want to talk for a long time. It seems as if all words are becoming too small. Perhaps that's why many people simply remain silent. Sometimes silence speaks so much more. I sincerely hope that this place will always serve as a reminder not only of this terrible tragedy, but also of the importance of preserving human life, caring for each other, and doing everything possible to ensure something like this never happens again. Thank you to everyone who keeps the memory alive. Thank you to those who come here years later. As long as people remember, those we lost don't become an anonymous part of history. They remain people who continue to be loved and remembered.